Are you aware that people that used to get maybe 2 million naira as power bill before now are spending up to 12, 15 million naira? It's going to be difficult for any business to cope. We had a doctor from Port-Harcourt who was on radio or on TV recently saying that, look, initially they used to give him like 5 million naira every month as his bill. Now he's spending up to about 20, 25 to 30 million naira. And that's the reality of a lot of business owners at this time who have been put on this so-called Band A arrangement. They are going to kill business. People are going to lose their job. So whether we like it or not, when people begin to close down business, people begin to lose their job. Unemployment will skyrocket. What would it bring? Say, it will bring insecurity again. Because the man that goes back home without anything to do, it's a willing tool in the hand of criminals. And then when we have widespread insecurity, it's also going to have very full security. So again, when we talk about government sitting down, being very careful before taking decisions on policies that are going to have far-reaching consequences on the people, this exactly is what we are talking about.
Fuad, let's look at that story, right? The decision of the government, I believe, in a bid to tackle the problem of food unavailability, or, well, the inability to afford it as such. The federal government decided to donate trucks of rice to the 36 states and the FCT. In fact, information that we have here is reported on the various newspapers. A Daily Trust, for example, says that they did donate about 20 trucks of rice to 36 state governors and the Federal Capital Territory for onward distributions to Nigerians. And like I said, all of this in a bit to solve the problem, or at least attempt to solve the problem of food unavailability to the people. Is this a wise short-term plan in at least minimizing the amount of hungry people that we have in the country?
And, sorry, there's nothing wise about it. We've gone through this path before. Remember that I think sometime last year there was also this issue of 2 billion and then rice given to states, right?
Yes.
Where trucks of rice were said to be given to states. I said we're said to be given because, again, a lot of Nigerians didn't want anything. Now, if you're going to be giving 20 trucks of rice, I've always been against this idea of government of tokenism, this palliative arrangement of giving food to people and all that. You remember the last episode of people even dying at the customs office here in Lagos?
Yeah.
And the pandemonium that accompanied the distribution at even the local government level in different parts of Lagos. At the end of the day, you know what's going to happen to these 20 trucks of rice? It's going to be given to the state. It will end up in the storage and warehouses of our politicians or their friends and cronies. And at the end of the day, the real people, the poor and the poorest of the poor that are meant to get this, they will not even get it. It will become a tool of political patronage. Who do you know? Do you know a woman leader? Which ward do you belong to? Are you a registered party member? That's what is going to happen. You see, when politicians tell us this today, they tell us as if we are not even living in the society. As if we don't even know what they do. We see the way they do, the way they brand it, share this food amongst themselves. How some women leaders will corner it, how some party leaders will corner it, how you have to be a party member to get part of it. And if you're not a party member, you must be a friend of a party member. So we are just merely scratching the surface. We are deceiving ourselves. You see, and you see, we've created a problem now, and we don't even know how to solve the problem. And in trying to solve the problem, we are creating more problems. So it's problem galore everywhere in the country. Because ab initio, we keep saying it, and I'm going to repeat it again. We took this policy decision without thinking it through.
Well, it would seem that way. That particular story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. You would understand why we spent a lot of time analyzing that story. It affects every single one of us, with food inflation at 40.8%, the highest we've had in decades. It's a scary scenario, and we need to spend all the time that we can discussing these issues, what is responsible for it, and hopefully analyze ways in which we can at least abate this particular problem of food insecurity and also inflation. In the country. 40.8% is a scary figure. But you can get more information on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's have a look at this particular story here, something that I believe should maybe put a smile on the face of the average Nigerian, at least those who can afford airfares. Excitement as UAE lifts visa ban on Nigerians. Now, the federal government has signed an agreement with the government of the United Arab Emirates to resume visa issuance to Nigerians who wish to travel to the Middle Eastern country. The development sparked excitement among Nigerians on Monday. I can tell you that the agreement has been reached and is effective from today. Nigerian passport holders intending to travel to the UAE are able to do so. This is me quoting the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and he made this information available to State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting at Aso Rock in Abuja on Monday. So Fouad, after 2 years of being ostracized, if I'm not exaggerating, but really that's what it was.
Banned.
2 years. I was just
Don't come to our country.
After about 2 years, there were a lot of diplomatic disputes. There were also conversations about Nigerians' inability to repatriate some of the funds of Emirate Airlines, which would thankfully resume operations, I believe, October this year. They've been able to pay some part of the I think $85 million are there, but they've been able to pay some part. So Emirate Airlines should begin operations once again in Nigeria by October this year. But as at now, that was yesterday, the 15th. If you're able to make a trip to Dubai, if you want to, if you're able to afford the airfare, congrats. So Fuad, when are you going?
Well, I'm also an ordinary Nigerian, like every other person. Because again, if you look at what the airfares will be with dollars now, because again, I think the naira keeps dipping against the dollars. I think in one of the reports it's saying that I think at the parallel market selling for like 1,550 something naira. There's really no gain for now. So a return ticket now on any of the major airlines to Dubai, I'm sure you'll probably be doing that at close to 3 million plus at this time. I'm sure you know it's not for somebody like me tomorrow.
Why are you farming with the Mekuno people? Why are you farming Mekuno people?
I'm just saying that we are all in this shoes together, so it's not really news for somebody like myself or to every other Nigerian out there. They're actually talking about food. Nigerians want food now. But for people who have the money to go to, or who have businesses in Dubai, probably who have family members, who have businesses, who run businesses through the Middle East, Dubai is supposed to be like the center of it all for them. I think congratulations to them. There was a time we first announced that ban had been lifted, and then Dubai told us that no. But now the Minister of Information is saying that local has sorted out. A new visa application plan or rules will be released. I'm sure that it's not going to be free for all like it used to be in the past. I'm sure these guys are going to start. I'm sure they are going to attach very stringent conditions to people who want to come into their country now from Nigeria. Because we messed it all up and things. Apart from the fact that we had issues repatriating the funds of Emirates Airlines and what have you, the behavior of Nigerians in that country too was also a major source of concern. Remember
clashes in Dubai.
Court clashes, all manner of ridiculous things that some of these Nigerians were doing was also the reason why they said that, look, hey, if you guys stay in your countries, don't come here again. So, like I said, congratulations to people who have businesses, doing in the Middle East. That Dubai is a place where all of that starts and ends. But, see, it's also a big shame on us as a country.
How?
I'll tell you it's a big shame because whether we like it or not, Nigeria is supposed to be the giant of Africa. I say it's supposed to be because I doubt it. We are not just a giant now, just by mere nomenclature in real time. I doubt if that's what we are in Africa. Number two, Sage. There was a time the UAE, just like Nigeria, was a developing country. In fact, as a country, we're far, far, far ahead of them. In terms of our currency, in terms of our economy, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of everything that you can talk about when you talk about nationhood and development. In fact, we have records that at some point in the 70s, the nation UAE came around looking for funds and support from Nigeria. And that was a country we had seen as a near desert that would amount to nothing really economically. Now look at the story of the UAE. It has now become a choice destination for anybody in the country. What they will tell you now, it used to be see Paris and die. what anybody in the world will tell you now as a traveler, as a tourist, or as a business person is that, look, no matter the amount of travel you've done in your life, if you have not visited Dubai, there's still one more trip for you to take. And that's the story of a country in the 70s that was regarded as a mere fishing village. See, just a mere fishing village. Their first airport was built how many years ago? But look at the story of that country now. That was a country that has discovered oil, crude oil, the way Nigeria discovered it. But look at what visionary leadership has done to that country. That same country is now banning us, Nigeria. And we are celebrating the unbanning of Nigeria by the UAE. I feel ashamed as a Nigerian at this point. And with all sense of responsibility, I visited Dubai, I think about 4 or 5 years ago. And look, yes, apart from the facade, the optics, the beautiful buildings and what is in that country that has made us a ridiculous, a point of ridicule in the hand of UAE? The only difference is that, look, they have visionary leaders. They have leaders who are committed to nation building. They have leaders who love their people and their country than their own personal interests. And then you have our leaders who are so happy to go and stay in those countries. They buy houses here, they showcase their houses. You have a former senator now who wakes up every day showing all the amount of cars in his garage. These are empty brains we are talking about. And the only reason I'm saying again that we have the worst of us ruling the best of us in this country is because of our wobbled electoral system. There are people in this country who have gotten into points of authority that never even near councillorship. In fact, some of them have become senators, they become governors, that ordinarily, their capacity of thinking, they should not even be councillors because of their behavior and character. So I feel ashamed again that we are celebrating this. Look at the Emirates airline now. Probably the most successful airline in the world as we see. Where is our own Nigeria airline? At Ijeru. In Africa, there are several countries in Africa who have their own national carrier. When their people want to travel out to anywhere in the world, they take their national carrier, they go around with their shoulders high. Where is Nigeria airline? And an attempt to even bring back the national carrier, we throw money again. Addis Iriga. So I'm sorry, I'm ashamed that we're even talking about the UAE banning Nigeria, the supposed giant of Africa. It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, Fuad, I think that we can at least accept the little bit of goodness that comes with this. We have something of a trade relationship with these people, and that would this arrangement sort of re-solidifies the trade arrangement that we have.
What's our balance of trade with the UAE?
Can we analyze? Okay, I can understand that it's a tad bit abysmal, but then this is a good step.
So what exactly are we celebrating?
That we're starting at least a blank check of some kind. Right, this is a new opportunity to re-establish our trade with the UAE and start something new, behave ourselves, and hopefully.
What does the UAE take from us? What forex do we give to the UAE that give us forex in Nigeria?
At the moment, not a lot, but
mention one or two that you know.
I don't
know. That they take from us that we give to them and earn us forex from the UAE.
At the moment, nothing that I can think of. But like I said, maybe this will give us a fresh opportunity. Hopefully, like I said,
it's a fresh opportunity for people who are stealing our money to go there, have holidays, take their girlfriends there, stay in the toilet, hotel, spend the cash forex on those countries. UAE continues to make money from Nigeria.
I know they make a lot of money from tourism,
to build our own country.
And we are, we
where's our own tourism? They have tourism. Where's our own tourism?
This particular story is on page 12, but then as it is, the UAE has lifted the visa ban that was placed on Nigerians, and Emirates Airlines should start to function by October of this year. More information is on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. You are on to mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. This is Trends in the Papers. My name is Sage Babalola. I'm talking here with Fuad Said. We're both analyzing the papers and presenting you the stories. Fuad is accompanying my presentation with his analysis. Do well to join us on Facebook and on YouTube, where we're streaming the program live currently. We see a lot of people that are currently on our live stream. We appreciate you for joining. So please join our live stream so that you can participate on the program in real time. Moving forward, we have information here that says 1.8 billion fuel stolen from refineries in 9 years. This is a report that was put together.
You see why they are banning us?
Fᴜʟ, is our own Fᴜʟ that they stole. It's not the one.
You are not serious now. You look at see them.
$1.8 billion fuel stolen from refineries in 9 years, says Lɪධᴇ. So, the Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, Dr. Ogbonnaya Orji, has disclosed that the country lost $1.84 billion worth of petroleum products from refineries in 9 years. He stated this on Monday, and according to him, 4.2 billion liters of petroleum products were lost from refineries as a result of oil theft from 2009 and 2018, and this was estimated at 140,000 barrels per day. And baffled by the increasing rate of oil theft, the native boss says, and I quote, "Figures contained in our 2009 to 2020 audit have put Nigeria's losses to crude oil theft over a 12-year period at 619.7 million barrels, valued at $46.16 billion or 16.25 trillion. And between 2009 and 2018, the country also lost 4.2 billion liters of petroleum products from refineries that is valued at $1.84 billion. So Fouad, regardless of all of our effort from security agencies and even the private security arrangements that we made to minimize the incidence of oil theft, we haven't exactly made enough progress, because this particular report is telling us that we have lost billions of dollars and billions of liters of crude as a result of oil theft. So Fouad, please go ahead, even if I know where you're. Just please.
Because again, all of the efforts to stop this oil theft and what have you, for me, I see efforts made in error. Again, we have a lot of. I think we have a major private security arrangement now, the Tantita arrangement, right?
Yeah.
Where shamefully, with all sense of respect to whatever anybody's thinking somewhere, shamefully we've decided to also put in the hand of a former militant the security of our oil facility. A former militant, yes, a former militant has a contract to help us secure our facilities. Again, God knows what goes on with that kind of arrangement. Again, I think the last time, if our figures are correct, because again, I'm afraid to begin to quote government figures now. Yesterday, Dangote shocked us. All this while we have been quoting that we have a 20% stake in Dangote refinery.
7.2%. You're owing money. I feel like he's just trying to. I feel like he's just trying to spite them because of the whole crude oil thing. That's why he's
not buying anything. I know the way I come up on air, very confident about government figures. That look, Dangote can be telling us that we have a $2.5 billion stake. That's about 20% of that refinery. I'm sure anytime the Dangote people look here, they will say, look at it. It's just 7.2. I know when you have a 7.2% stake in a company, you don't even, nobody's, you have less than 10%. Because at the end of the day, somebody can even buy up that your entire thing without thinking, without even, batting an eyelid. So the reality again is that, look, if we're going to be working with a government figure, that's about 4 billion naira, right?
Yes. That's
supposed to go into that arrangement every month. I know what 4 billion naira can actually do. But again, if you look at the figures of what we are losing, those are the issues about the government not fixing real problems. And when there's a problem, they throw the burden on the ordinary people. Why can't the government, with all sense of purpose, capacity, commitment, solve the problem of oil theft? Look at the monies we are losing. You know what those monies would have been able to do for ordinary Nigerians? Maybe fix some of our infrastructure, do some very critical. When the government comes up to say, look, there's no other way, there are other ways. The problem is that what is lacking is a commitment to really solving the problem. So, look, I think it was Saudi Arabia, the Aramco guy, that showed us a particular situation room where they monitor their oil fields. Every barrel of crude oil that leaves Saudi Arabia is accounted for. Every barrel of crude oil. I'm sure that's what happens in other oil-producing nations that are serious. So when you have this kind of inefficiency, this level of corruption, with the resources that is supposed to be God-given, that is supposed to help you out of your economic... The UAE we are talking about today, what was the resources they used to build their country? Is it not the same crude oil? when the leaders when they discovered the crude oil, and he said that, look, let us begin to manage this crude oil as if in the next 50 years our oil wells will dry up. But let's use the resources, the monies we make from this crude oil, to develop our economy, develop our country to the point where crude oil now becomes a secondary means of income for us. And Dubai not, if they say there's no oil in the world again, you think Dubai will bother? Because they've been able to diversify the economy, they've been able to ramp up infrastructural development. Tourism is now like a major earner of forex for Dubai, and that's why their currency has been so steady against the dollar for years. Here you have, we can't even account for the crude oil, we can't fix our own refinery, there's no road, there's nothing, and we are celebrating that UAE has fixed a ban on Nigeria. I feel ashamed again as a Nigerian state. It's important that we continue to say that, because what we are lacking basically is that the country say Dubai is a desert. In fact, I got to one of their beaches. You know, they have several. I think one of the one that's close to the Burj Al Arab. And when we got to that beach, say, you know, we saw that the sand on their beach had a different color. You know, because of the desert nature of Dubai, most of their sand in the beach have this reddish, pinkish kind of color, not the kind of white beach sand we have here. So when we got to this particular beach, we saw that the sand here is looking so whitish, see, very whitish, just like our own sand in our own beach here. And you know what they told us? See, that this sand you are seeing, we came to Nigeria to come and pack it because we wanted a feel of the white sand you guys have in your beaches in Nigeria. They even came to take our sand, see, just to create that effect for us. Let Nigerians get thinking and understand some of these things we are saying. There's nothing like having leaders who are committed to nation building and with division to solve the problem of the people and take them out of poverty. We don't have it in Nigeria for now.
Well, Fuad, there's something of a complimentary story, if I can call it that, because, again, Kyari gives early August promise on Port Harcourt refinery. The group chief executive
you have started with the promise again. You purposely brought this all up now.
It's in the papers. You don't want us to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's tell people what they're telling. I mean, the government has information for them. Let's give it to them. The Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, Mr. Ambele Kyari, has again said that the Port Harcourt refinery would be on stream early August. I'm talking August of 2024. Although he quoted and said, "I don't have any confirmation at this moment, so that nobody quotes me and says, oh, you are..." What? Wait now. So nobody quotes me and says, "Oh, you keep lying." No, we're not lying to you, Mr. President. This was when he was talking to the Senate, and he says further, "Yes, I'm aware there are several comments in the public space around refining business and domestic production, including production that will come from the commissioned Dangote refinery. Yes, the country, as we have said, will be a net exporter of petroleum products by the end of this year."
Exporter.
Yes.
Exporter of what? Petroleum products.
By the end of 2024. And Daily Trust newspaper also gives a further report that so far so good since the mechanical completion of Port Harcourt refinery, at least 1 million barrels of crude has been supplied to that particular refinery. And Mele Kyari is telling us that although he does not have confirmation, he's still telling us that it's a possibility that by August this year, the Port Harcourt refinery would be on stream. So how do we...
So what has he said now? Okay, you say. Then before me, when somebody says I don't have confirmation, so that you don't quote me and say I'm lying. But don't worry, by August, the final will start working. What has he told you?
I don't know. It's just like what they told us with the IOCs. We cannot force them, but
we mandate them.
So, I don't know.
You see the problem.
I don't know how to reconcile it. So sorry.
Well, anyway, we pray. You know, when we get to the point, you say when you get to a point of confusion, you just see everything in the hands of God. And I think we're at that point now where we just have to turn our hands and begin to beg God to allow this refinery to work for us. Because again, if I'm going to be working with what has been said, the timeline given by the NNPCL, there are indications that these refineries may not even work. They never even work. Even the one that we've struggled to build, that Alhaji Aliko Dangote did everything possible in the world to build. The man has still not been able to get crude oil feed, to feed his refinery from Nigeria. So if Mr. Melechari is saying that by August, Port Harcourt will work, and that before the end of the year, other refineries will work, and they are saying that we're not going to be a net exporter of what? Petroleum product, not crude oil, by the end of the year. How is that going to happen? Those are the statements they make that make us conclude that these guys just want to lie to us. And I can tell you that what he has said is actually a lie.
He said don't quote him. So you know
I'm not saying, okay, you don't quote me, but why are you saying it? Look, say we are not talking about the lowest of staff in the NNPCL. We are talking about the DCO of the NNPCL, who should have daily reports of activities and things going on at the refinery, who should have figures, information. We are talking about, it's not just a security officer at the NNPCL that is talking, say. We are talking about the man in charge telling us that, he doesn't have confirmation, but he was coming before the Senate and he has no confirmation. Are we joking? Is it a joke or something? Is it a comedy? Is it a comical show? And then he's telling Nigerians, don't quote me, so that you don't say I'm lying. But I can tell you that in August, so that when it doesn't happen in August, maybe I told you not to quote me. Are we joking? Are we fapping around here? Is this how to build a nation state? Because at the end of the day, let us even break down the 1 million barrels that has been supplied to the Port Harcourt refinery. God knows how many months too for that amount of crude to be supplied to that facility. Are you aware that the Port Harcourt refinery is about 225 barrels of crude oil per day? That's the capacity of that refinery, both the old and the new. So 1 million will do how many days, say, at full capacity? That's like 5 days. And if you look at what experts have said, from a barrel of crude, you can get about 170 liters of refined petroleum product. So at the end of the day, the question we should even ask ourselves is that let us even pray and hope that the refinery starts working, all of the refineries. Dangote, 50,000 barrels of crude oil per day. Port Harcourt refinery, both the old and the new, 225. Warri and Kaduna, if you add it together, everything is about 445,000 barrels. The four refineries. If you add that to Dangote, we have about 1.2 million refining capacity per day. Stage with the reality of food production in Nigeria and the fact that we are still dealing with about 50% of oil theft in the country, where are we going to get crude to feed this refinery? That's if the refineries will start working. And here, the man that is in charge is telling he doesn't have information. Don't quote me, I'm not lying. But he's giving us timeline. God help Nigeria.
August is next month. August is next month, in about 2 weeks.
But he doesn't have information, and he's telling you next month to work.
Well, you can get more information of this particular story on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. Let's segue a little bit to Rivers State and get information on the drama that is or continues to play out in that state. Now, the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amewule, on Monday wrote to the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, stopping him from spending funds from the State Consolidated Revenue Fund. This development followed the expiration of the 7-day ultimatum given to the governor by the lawmakers that are loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for the submission of the 2024 budget afresh. The fresh presentation of the budget was among the conditions for peace signed during a parley held at the instance of President Bola Tinubu to reconcile the factions of Wike and Fubara in Abuja. So, for last year, the governor Siminalayi Fubara submitted the 800 billion naira budget for the state to the 4 members that were still loyal to him, following the defection of 27 that were loyal to Nyesom Wike. But we had court judgments that sort of reaffirmed that these 24 that defected are still members of the State House Assembly, and they gave the governor 7 days to represent the budget. The 7 days have elapsed, and now they're saying that the governor should not put his hands in the state fund because it now becomes illegal, considering the fact that the House have not assented to that particular.
The governor will not listen to them. They are just wasting their time. He will listen to the 4 members that are loyal to. It's unfortunate that we are reviewing the papers and talking about Rivers State House of Assembly that has 2 factions, one loyal to the governor, one loyal to Nyesom Wike, none loyal to the people of Rivers State. Very unfortunate. That's the story of Nigeria's democracy. 25 years down the line after sustained democracy from 1999 to today, we've not learned any lessons. Our politicians have become more crooked. They've become more desperate. They become more corrupt and more daring of the people. Really no regard for the people, no regard for the rule of law. They behave anyhow, steal people's money, and even flaunt it, rub it on the faces of the people. So that's the story of the democracy we are running for now. But on Rivers State again on this issue, I doubt if the governor will listen to them because the governor does not even believe that those guys exist again. Remember, I told them that at that time when he was listening to them, he was at his own instance. And that as it is now, legally is ready to go the full battle with them. Where the Rivers State matter would end, I don't know for now. I really don't know what the end will be for the crisis in Rivers State. But I have my fears, and I'm hoping that our leaders, our politicians, will learn from how the First Republic collapsed, the Second Republic collapsed, the Third Republic collapsed, and I'm hoping that they will not by themselves use their own hands to kill this Fourth Republic experiment when it comes to democratic government in Nigeria. Like I said, whatever happens in Rivers State, maybe one day we'll be here again to talk about how people have refused, to behave properly and see where it will head. So I'm sure the governor will just listen to them because he doesn't even recognize them. At the end of the day, we'll see what would end all of this Rivers State crisis.
Indeed.
Since we are more interested in building strong people than building strong institutions.
Indeed. Well, on Kano State, for example, the court okays Kano Emirate law repeal, sacks Bayero orders. So the court at this time is still reaffirming Emir Sanusi III as the Emir of Kano, and the others, especially Bayero, which seems to be the most adamant of all of the other
there's nothing to be adamant about now. We've said it. The State Assembly has the right to make laws on traditional institutions and what the Kano State people did, the governor did basically, was to first allow the state to repeal the one that was created under Ganduje that balkanized the emirate into 5, and so bringing it back into 1 again. And so you see, the reality is that whatever Bayero is doing, I think it's just some of people prompting him from Abuja, because at the end of the day, governor through the State Assembly still has the control. They have the upper hand, they have the final say on traditional institutions in the state. And that's the fact.
That's on page 14 of the Punch. We have on page 16, cholera cases rise to 2,809 in 33 states, 148 local government areas. Unfortunately, we're not exactly exonerated from the scourge of cholera. The cases are rising, but we hope that state governors are doing what is expected of them in trying to abate this cholera case. And yes, the provision of potable water has been highlighted as the most significant solution to this problem. It's on page 16. And on page 19 of the Punch, we have Lagos allays fears over LCDAs or your Taraba setup panel. So for this story is regarding the Supreme Court judgment, the one that allows for autonomy for the local government area. So now you know that LCDAs are more or less a creation of the state. So now they are afraid that if the money is not necessarily domiciled with the state government and is sent directly to the local government area, how would they get funding? But Lagos State is assuring them that they would find a way, although they don't have information or facts on how that will work, but they would find a way to legally make funding still be available for the local council development areas. Yes, and Oyo State and Taraba, they've set up some sort of legal committee as well that would help them make certain decisions that doesn't go against the law to handle this particular judgment of the Supreme Court. Yes.
The Oyo State governor is angry.
He says he's not angry.
He
says he's not angry.
But what he's saying shows he's very angry.
Even though he says he's not angry.
He's so annoyed. Nobody can tell. Before we took over, the local government were not paying salaries, but now they are paying salaries. They were not able to pay school teachers. Now they are paying. Basically, the governor still wants to be charged. And these Supreme Court judgments, a lot of them are very bitter about it. And you can now see that the Oyo State government said that, look, I put up a committee to review that decision and find a way and find how we're going to implement it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
At the end of the day, and that was why we said that, look, whatever has been done at the Supreme Court level is just one step out of about 100 steps that we need to take to really get the local government fully functional. There are still several steps. And the major one we have not been able to do is to ensure that proper elections are conducted for local governments in Nigeria. The one we have now, through the state independent electoral commissions as handled by the governors, is a complete waste of time. And it's not going to change anything.
Thank you.
Lagos State that is saying that LCDAs are not a problem, despite this Supreme Court judgment. Let me tell you why they are saying it's not a problem.
Well, you'd have to tell us why during Mainland Focus, because we're actually
I'll do it in just 10 seconds now.
Okay.
10 seconds. It is because they know that the local government elections will be conducted by the State Independent Electoral Commission, where their party will win every of the seats and councillorship. So it's still a party thing. It's still within their party. They'll be able to resolve it. But if proper elections are conducted and another party wins out of those 20 recognized local governments, they will be in trouble. So they know that as long as they are still able to conduct the elections the way they conduct it now and put their party people in charge of the local government, the LCDs will not suffer because the party arrangement, they'll be able to resolve all of that within their party.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Fuad. That's everything we have for you for today on Trends in the papers. All of the stories are replicated across all the other papers, so we were majorly able to cover the bulk of the stories. But we'll be back at 8:40 for Mainland Focus. This is the part of the show that is all about you. My name is Sage Babalola. After these commercials, we'll be back with more information. Don't go anywhere.